I don't want to terastallize Chi-Yu. Bit of a problem with this team as always. I'll click Overheat anyway. They go for Wide Guard. I missed the Overheat. They didn't terastallize the Magirna, and they didn't fake out or follow me. I had a clean shot with the Overheat. Chi-Yu just couldn't deliver. Welcome back to VGC Legends. This is, as always, the series where I spin a wheel, get a random, legendary, or mythical Pokemon that exists in Scarlet and Violet, speed build a team around that Pokemon, and try the team out on the Regulation J ladder. I do this for two reasons. One, that I just really like legendary and mythical Pokemon, and the other, that by trying a whole bunch of different teams that I hastily built, some good, some bad, some in between, and some just plain weird, I have a fun little adventure and maybe learn some things along the way. There are 8 Pokemon left on the wheel, and at this far into the series, there's not much left to say except, let's see which one we get. And it looks like this long name trio that have been together, making the wheel look kind of odd with their long names grouped together for quite a long time now. Don't know if you've noticed that, it stood out to me, is broken up, as we are going deep into Area 0 and giving Terapagos a showcase. Not sure what I'll do with that one, let's find out. 3 forms, but of course this is just a visual display here. There is no decision to make. All 3 forms will be available because that's just inherently how it is with Terapagos. In fact, this form doesn't do any actual battling. My first thought on what to do with Terapagos is always Calm Mind. Bulky, it has Tera Shell to help it out. Leftovers from recovery, slap on a Rillaboom to double up the recovery, or a Sinistcha for hospitality. You get some Calm Mind boosts, you unleash some Tera Starstorm, and it's fun. However, I've been using a lot of Calm Mind stuff lately. I've used Calm Mind Terapagos recently. I've tried Calm Mind sets on some other legendaries. I was going to say and mythicals. I don't remember whether that's true or not. Some other featured Pokemon in this series. Oh, Terapagos is definitely shiny locked, right? What a shame. Anyway, I don't think I feel like it right now, so I think I want to do Choice Specs Terapagos. You know what? I'm going to bring back a classic set from when Terapagos first became legal in early Regulation G. Are you ready for this? Choice Specs, Tera Starstorm, Sleep Talk. That's it. I hope I run into a Darkrai team. Okay, so this is going to want Tailwind for sure. I think we can pencil in Tornadus or Whimsicott. Okay, before Terapagos terastallizes, its offense is vulnerable to Ghost types and like Steel types without any coverage. After it terastallizes, its offense is vulnerable to mainly Wide Guard. Wide Guard users in this format include what? Lunala, Zamazenta, Smeargle, some other stray stuff here and there. I'm just trying to think about what teammates are needed to complement Terapagos, especially what the other restricted should be, but I think first actually I'm thinking about the Tailwind setter. Do I want Tornadus or Whimsicott? I could just surround it with Rillaboom, Incineroar, or Shifu, kind of make it look like it might be a Calm Mind Terapagos. I also have to think about how to beat Trick Room teams. I mean, it kind of... Yeah, if I just do Tornadus, Rillaboom, Incineroar, or Shifu, it's a little bland, but it could work. Actually, I want to go more offensive with this, don't I? I could do, like, Koraidon, Chi-Yu Fluttermane. I could put Chi-Yu on the field with Terapagos to power up the Tera Starstorm effectively with Beads of Ruin. Koraidon is a physical complement to that. We could also throw on a Raging Bolt and like a Walking Wake and really double down on the offense, but that's 6 Pokemon. And I do want a Tailwind setter somewhere, but at that point Whimsicott is probably preferable because I can run Sunny Day on it. Or like at least I'm not choosing to run Rain Dance on it. So that would be Koraidon. That would be Fluttermane. I could do Focus Sash Fluttermane because I don't need that item anywhere else. Life Orb Koraidon for maximum offense. Chi-Yu is kind of the glue that ties this all together, and I think I'm burned out on anything other than Choice Scarf Chi-Yu right now. How do I beat Trick Room? Try to overwhelm it with offense. Classic answer. Do I need more physical offense with Koraidon on the team? Maybe not, but it doesn't hurt. I could run like a single striker Shifu or something. Or an Ogre Pawn, maybe Hearthflame Mask Ogre Pawn. Although I think I'm good for fire types already. But it's a solid offensive piece. I still want Tailwind. I think Whimsicott is the Tailwind setter of choice here. One slot left. That could be Raging Bolt. It could be Hearthflame Mask Ogre Pawn. It could be Single Striker Shifu. I think I like Raging Bolt because it also gives me priority that I can click in opposing Trick Room. How do I beat Darkrai? Hopefully with this, that would be fun. More likely I'd Tailwind, Outspeed, KO. How do I beat Magearna? Never let it get comfortable. Alright, it's pretty simple offense. I think it'll do. This is the Terapagos set. Koraidon. I think just standard Tera Fire, close combat, Flare Blitz, Flame Charge, Protect. I probably don't need to fill all these out on video. These are going to be familiar sets. Tera Fairy on the Flutter Mane. I could do Tera Normal to help me deal with Shadow Rider Calyrex. I do have Chi-Yu to help me deal with Shadow Rider. I have Terapagos actually is extremely good into Shadow Rider. I think Tera Fairy is okay. I also can Thunderclap Shadow Rider if it doesn't have Psychic Terrain up, but some of them will. Chi-Yu, Tera Ghost. I think the only Chi-Yu set I'm interested in right now, Heat Wave, Overheat, Dark Pulse, Snarl. Maybe there's something else instead of Snarl that could be useful, but Snarl could be good into some special offensive teams. And like, if I'm gonna run Tera Ghost, I don't need Tera Blast. I'm not gonna run some other creative Tera type. I need to avoid fake outs. Covert Cloak. Tera Dark, I guess. Tailwind. I could just do Encore Light Screen. I think I'm gonna do Encore Sunny Day Moonblast. Because Flutter Mane, Chi-Yu, Raging Bolt, even Koraidon all benefit from the sun, so having a second way to set that up is, I think, not bad on this team. And then Raging Bolt, I don't think I need Booster Energy when I have two Sunsetters. I could do Magnet, I could do Life Orb. Oh wait, no, the Life Orb is on Koraidon. I could do Magnet, I could do Assault Vest, give this team a little bit more of a backbone, while at the same time Raging Bolt is hitting things hard. I think I like Assault Vest. I think it's worth a shot. Tera Fairy? Is that Reg F brain coming back? I could just do Tera Electric. Obviously it keeps one of Raging Bolt's weaknesses, but it does still get rid of the other 2, 3 weaknesses and gives it a power boost. Let's do Tera Fairy. I might need it into Miraidon. Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor probably. And then I could do another Snarl, but I don't think I need that. I could do Volt Switch. I could do Dragon Pulse if I want that safe dragon attack. I have not used Assault Vest Raging Bolt much lately. I'm not used to having this extra attack that I can't just run as Protect. In fact, I kind of maybe would like Protect here. I can reconsider the Assault Vest later if I want. I could do Weather Ball for the fire coverage and sun. That's not that bad an idea, actually. Or I could do Volt Switch. That's pretty good, too, because Raging Bolt is one of my slower Pokemon. I can get a slow Volt Switch, pivot in something like Chi-Yu or Koraidon safely. Let's go with Volt Switch. I'll fill in the stats. This team especially, because it's just so all-out offensive, is going to have a lot of 252 spreads, I can tell you that. And I'll make Flutter Mane Timid. Max speed. So it'll get a speed boost from Photosynthesis. This will get a special attack boost. I'll fill in the rest, and we'll start going to the ladder to do some battles. Alright, well, not much to talk about here. One thing that does occur to me that could be a little bit of a tension in this team is that obviously Terapagos very much wants to Terrastallize, and Koraidon tends to as well. And Chi-Yu could get into some positions where it really wants to Terrastallize. The rest of this team should be fine. Flutter Mane, Raging Bolt, and all and especially Whimsicott should all not need to very often. But Terapagos and Koraidon could be an awkward restricted pairing for that reason. We'll see how it goes. Overall, very simple building process. Let's drop some Star Storms on some opponents. If we can. Once again, taking a little bit of time to find the first battle. I really hope people are still playing Reg J. It's with us for a couple more months. It's a fun, chaotic, mythical format. I know, as I'm recording this, the return of Reg F was just recently announced, which I'll have to dive back into soon because I'm probably going to try to go to the Toronto Regional. But I'm a lot more interested in Reg J, but for that regional coming up. Honestly, I was hoping Reg I would be the last regulation of Scarlet and Violet because I really enjoyed that format and I never got a chance to play it in person, so I was hoping I would in Toronto. Reg F should be fun. But Reg J is fun right now. Come on, where are the opponents? I guess this is the point where I'll stop talking, and if the wait is much longer, I'll cut some of it. Never mind, we're good. Okay, got an opponent. Shadow Rider, Calyrex, Zamazenta, Incineroar, Urshifu, Rillaboom, Whimsicott. Okay, pretty straightforward stuff. Just try to overwhelm it. They have Wide Guard, probably. But this is one thing I like about what I built here. Koraidon and Chi-Yu in particular. Flutter Mane to an extent. And threaten Zamazenta in the early game. Let's not let it get comfortable. Depending on its Tera type, that could make it a little bit harder to remove, but let's try to at least pressure out the Tera. I could lead Chi-Yu here. I don't want to let Chi-Yu get faked out. And I don't want to terrestrialize it because I want to terrestrialize Terapagos. Alright. Let's lead Koraidon, Whimsicott, and bring Chi-Yu. I think I want Flutter Mane though. Do I need Whimsicott? I want to be able to match their Tailwind with my Tailwind, right? Okay. We'll make do. Koraidon, Whimsicott, Chi-Yu, Terapagos. They lead Urshifu and their own Whimsicott. So, yeah, we can match Tailwinds, and of course Koraidon will be faster than Urshifu. I'm happy to just rip a close combat into this slot. Maybe? Actually, let's Flare Blitz the Whimsicott slot, so I don't leave my Koraidon open to a Moonblast. I'm also thinking Shadow Rider Calyrex might try to switch in. Although, yeah, because what are the chances I click Flare Blitz into this slot, right? So let's Tailwind and Flare Blitz the Whimsicott. Hopefully it's not Sash Whimsicott on this team. It probably isn't, right? It's probably Sash Calyrex. They don't set Tailwind, so I deny their Tailwind for the whole game. Whatever they went for there, maybe I'll end up wishing I had brought Flutter Mane instead of my Whimsicott, because my Tailwind is not really that necessary right now, although it's nice for dealing with their Calyrex. Koraidon is intimidated, but there's not really anybody I want to switch in on Urshifu, so I'm just going to protect, and I'm going to click Moonblast into Urshifu. They'll probably let me get away with that, right? I mean, it's Covert Cloak Whimsicott. They can't really... It is Covert Cloak Whimsicott, right? Yeah. They can't fake it out. They do actually just let me have the Urshifu there, and they forfeit. Quick game, never got Terapagos on the field. Let's see what happens next. There really might just not be many people playing this ladder right now. Which I hope is not the story of the late part of this series. Ah, but we got someone again. Lunala, Kyogre, Urshifu, Farigiraf, Murkrow, and Rillaboom. Interesting. Rain, maybe some Trick Room. They have a couple of obvious Trick Room pieces, but it's obviously not like a hard Trick Room team. Although, actually, I mean, Kyogre is relatively slow for a restricted Pokemon. It could be a hard Trick Room. Or hard-ish. They have Murkrow, Tail Room. Tail Room, Kyogre, Tail Room, Lunala, Tail Room, Urshifu. That all makes sense. Okay, we got something rational out of this ramble in the end, I hope. Whimsicott is nice for matching their Tailwind, but not helpful into Trick Room. Would actually be nice to have Light Screen on it here. Actually, I could click Sunny Day. That's good into this team. I can Encore Lunala maybe, but of course Armor Tail, if it sets Trick Room, but of course Armor Tail from Farigiraf does shut that down, but I think it's still worthwhile to lead Whimsicott here. I'll do it with Koraidon. They don't have a great Koraidon answer in the lead position. I guess the Rillaboom could fake it out. Well, let's do that, and then I think Raging Bolt is too good to not bring here, and I just really want to click Specs, Terra Starstorm, so we bring Terapagos, even though they probably have Wide Guard on Lunala. My opponent DC'd. Never mind, they're back. Do I protect Koraidon here, or do I just Flare Blitz Lunala? It'll go to Shadow Shield too if I do. Let's protect Koraidon and Moonblast Lunala. Look to break the Shadow Shield. It's Tera Fire Lunala, so just as well I didn't Flare Blitz it. Koraidon does avoid a Fake Out. I don't think I've seen Tera Fire Lunala before. The Moonblast actually will not really do anything into the Shadow Shield because it just comes right back. I can go Terapagos now, and it's a little bit risky, but I can Terrasilize, Tera Starstorm. I turn off my own Sun. That's another awkward thing about Terapagos with Koraidon. It's not a great restricted pairing, but hopefully it makes sense here. But they have Tera Fire Lunala. Who knows what surprises they have. They might not have Wide Guard. Tera Starstorm is very strong here if they don't. Even if they do, making them click Wide Guard here when Rillaboom is not very threatening into Koraidon, I think is a win in itself. My opponent seems to be having a lot of connection trouble. Speaking of potential wins. But I'll go Close Combat into Lunala, and I will just... Yep, make sure I entered that correctly, and I will just Terrasilize and Tera Starstorm. I really hope I run into a Darkrai. Otherwise... I mean, this is a classic Terapagos set, right? This is actually one of the oldest ones. People were running this in early Reg G. The Choice Specs Terapagos with just Tera Starstorm and Sleep Talk, but I hope I run into a Darkrai team so I actually get to use the Sleep Talk. If this weren't a video, I would probably turn off timer now, because my opponent seems to be having connection trouble, but I do feel like I kind of have to keep the video moving, and, you know, if they have connection trouble, it's not my fault. They might have timed out on this turn. I can't believe nobody in the comments ever explained this to me. All this time... Oh, no Wide Guard. All this time, I thought on Showdown, if you time out, you lose the game. That's how Showdown timer works. I guess at some point, for VGC formats at least, they added the VGC style. Just Close Combat here in Tera Starstorm. They added the VGC style if you time out on a turn, Sash or Shifu. So they might take out my Terapagos here. If you time out on a turn, then the move in your first slot gets used. So all those times that my opponents were using their full time and making moves that didn't make sense, and I would say, that's weird, they used their full time and then they did that? Nobody in the comments ever explained to me that Showdown Timer, at least on the VGC ladders, works like that now. I don't even remember how I learned it, but I have learned it now. I thought people were just trolling me by waiting the full time and then just doing whatever. Which, admittedly, is a pretty weird thing to think, but I believed that when they ran out of time, they would just lose the game. And that's how battle simulators have worked longer than VGC has existed. So what did I know? That's the best explanation I had. It's going to be annoying when they fake out my Raging Bolt this turn, huh? But if ever I'm going to find an opening to not just keep spamming Protect until the Trick Room is over, I think it's right now. So let's... I'm not going to gift them damage on my Koraidon if I can avoid it. So Flame Charge is kind of weak, but it doesn't do recoil or lower my defenses. Wood Hammer? No, we don't take that anyway. Alright, well... I just wanted to click buttons with my Terapagos. I do get punished for letting it go down against the Urshifu. Sash Urshifu was reasonably predictable. Oh well. I mean, actually... The Rillaboom doesn't have high horsepower. Raging Bolt is just sitting here. I can deny another Trick Room. Sure, they ally switch, but now they lose their Urshifu. Oh, I can't deny another Trick Room because they can fake out in Trick Room now. That's actually pretty clever. But even then, I'm not sure they actually beat my Raging Bolt. I don't know, it is taking damage. There's only one turn of Grassy Terrain left. They don't even bother with the Trick Room. High horsepower. Woodhammer does... it did about 30% in the terrain. It'll do less now. Do I have to Draco Meteor the Rillaboom right now? I think I might have to. And then do I drop to Farigiraf? No. Do I knock it out with... Actually, Draco Meteor is stronger. Yes, okay. Somehow I won that game. Well, the somehow is just Raging Bolt being incredibly tanky And that Rillaboom not having high horsepower. I was just ranting about showdown timers over it, but that actually was a really good Raging Bolt game. Not as good a Terapagos game. But hopefully we'll find better. And yeah, I had to attack Rillaboom before Choreograph in those last couple turns. I mean, I think it's obvious, but if Rillaboom got one more chance to attack, it would have beaten Raging Bolt, so it had to be the higher priority target toward the end there. I was avoiding it until that point because the Draco Meteor special attack drop would weaken all of my other attacks afterward, and Thunderbolt just doesn't do enough to Rillaboom. But it paid off using it there. Kyogre, Zacian, Urshifu, Amoonguss, Qianpao, Tornadus. Okay, Rain. Probably Rapid Strike Urshifu. Probably Raging Bolt is really good here. Probably Whimsicott, Koraidon. Whimsicott once again able to match Tailwind. Also able, if we both lead our weather setters, they get weather control because Koraidon's faster, so then Kyogre's ability activates second and it sets up the rain, but then I can click Sunny Day with Whimsicott, so let's lead Koraidon and Whimsicott. Bring Terapagos and bring Raging Bolt. Leave the Chi-Yu Flutter Mane duo behind once again. There's a classic duo from all the way back to Reg C that I'm going to become very familiar with again in Reg F, aren't I? Isn't it? Isn't it, aren't I? I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, we can match Tailwinds here. This is a problem actually though, because Zacian will outspeed and threaten Koraidon with Fairy-type damage, so I actually just think I have to Terrasilize Koraidon in this game, and not Terapagos, so it's just going to be normal type Tera Starstorm later in this game. But so be it. When you run Koraidon as the other restricted, these positions happen. I'm not switching Raging Bolt or Terapagos in on a likely play rough. What if it's Tera Ground Zacian? But it's not. They do have Rain Dance to mitigate the damage, so Zacian survives. The Behemoth Blade Whimsicott. Now I can't click Sunny Day. That's actually pretty smart by them. But what I can do is Thunderclap Zacian now. Unless it is Tera Ground Zacian and they're saving it until now. But let's do that, and let's honestly switch Koraidon out to Terapagos. So I can get Orichalcum Pulse going again in a more favorable position later. It's Tera Ground Zacian. They just didn't show me until now. Fair enough, honestly. Okay, Tera Blast does some damage to Terapagos. Unfortunately, I can't protect Raging Bolt. And Ground Tera Blast pins this slot because Koraidon is a fire type, so I guess I'll just let Raging Bolt go down here if that's what happens. I'll Tera Starstorm the Torn and Draco Meteor the Zacian. Okay, the Tera Starstorm is going to go into Qianpao. They Tera Blast Raging Bolt and knock that out. That actually means I get Koraidon with one more turn of Tailwind. They'll probably protect the Zacian. They might also protect the Qianpao. I'm going to go for Flame Charge into Qianpao so that if they don't, I have a speed boost, but I'm sure they protect the Zacian here. The speed boost, the whole game could hinge on getting the speed boost. I don't think it's likely I will. They can just protect both Pokemon, but we'll see. No, they don't protect Qianpao. They take out Terapagos. That's a bit unfortunate. I need Koraidon to sweep everything from now on. The speed boost makes that the tiniest bit maybe possible. No, never mind. They still have their Tailwind. I forgot they offset it from mine. I can protect through it. Oh, they don't bring Tornadus in. Actually, I can protect through this. No, I can't beat both of these Pokemon with Koraidon. I'll try to, but I can't. Yeah, because now, I mean, I can close combat Zacian and lose to Kyogre, or I can close combat Kyogre and lose to Zacian. Let's close combat Kyogre. Because, I don't know. I don't like the sight of that mon with no damage on it. They switch it out to Tornadus, and Zacian closes the game out for them. They got me good with the Tera Ground Zacian. When they didn't use it turn 1, I thought they probably didn't have it. So then when they showed it turn 2, I wasn't ready. Well done by them. Magearna, Groudon, Smeargle, Brute Bonnet, Raging Bolt, and Hearthflame Mask Ogerpon. So we finally get a mythical Pokemon, but I've been wanting to see a Darkrai, and there's still no Darkrai. But maybe I can Tera Starstorm some stuff here. This opponent doesn't have Tailwind, and they don't have anything as fast as most of my team. Most of my team, including Whimsicott. But I don't think I bring Whimsicott. That's what I'm building to here. They probably do have Trick Room. Terra Fairy, Assault Vest, Raging Bolt. Well, I don't want to Terrasilize it if I don't have to. I might have to in front of Groudon, but it is very strong here. Might have to in front of Magearna as well. But actually, I think this is the kind of team where we try to overwhelm them early if we can with Flutter Mane and Chi-Yu. I'm actually not going to bring Raging Bolt. I'm going to bring my 2 restricted Pokemon. Okay, Smeargle, Magearna. So, I mean, this is like Fake Out or Follow Me. Trick Room. There's not a lot I can do about it. I could Tera Ghost the Chi-Yu and try to overwhelm Magearna with a fire attack. But I don't want to Terrasilize Chi-Yu. Bit of a problem with this team as always. I'll click Overheat anyway. They go for Wide Guard. I missed the Overheat. They didn't Terrasilize the Magearna and they didn't Fake Out or Follow Me. I had a clean shot with the Overheat. Chi-Yu just couldn't deliver. Moody gives me a little bit of justice by giving Smeargle a speed boost. That might be helpful. I'll protect Flutter Mane for now, try to preserve the Sash. I'll go for another Overheat into Magearna. They could Tera. They don't Tera. I feel like that was a tilt decision going for another Overheat. They could have so easily Tera'd. I wonder what its Tera type is that they didn't go for it. Chi-Yu takes a nap, but getting rid of Magearna is a helpful contribution to this battle. Groudon can knock out Chi-Yu here, but at least it won't be powered up by its ability when it does. Maybe they're saving their Tera for Groudon. Maybe that's all that is, although I don't really have a great way to threaten Groudon. Nothing on my team is all that threatening to Groudon. I wouldn't think you worry about saving your Tera on it here. In fact, Terrasalizing will make it weaker to Terapagos. Smeargle can just Spore the Flutter Mane now. I'd love to attack the Groudon. I will go for a Moonblast, but I don't think I'll be able to execute it. I'll just leave Chi-Yu to get knocked out. Flutter Mane at least has the Sash, and there's actually no Spores. The Smeargle switches out. Good Moonblast chip and a Groudon. I can go Terapagos here, and actually, this is fast Terapagos. Considering the composition of my opponent's team, maybe I don't outspeed this, or underspeed this Ogerpon. It'd have to be a really slow Ogerpon, but it could be on this team. But also, I can turn off the Sun by Terrasalizing right now. I'll just protect Flutter Mane and go spread Tera Starstorm. Let's see with speed interactions. Ogerpon Terrasalizes. That could be good news for me, depending on the speed. Groudon is slowest. Terapagos underspeeds Ogerpon. Nice. This is fast Terapagos, so that was not a given. But it does pan out that way. And Smeargle can Wide Guard if it wants, but... But what? Oh, well, Flutter Mane goes down here. I can just win with Koraidon, I think. So, Moonblast, Tera Starstorm. They don't Wide Guard. They miss Precipice Blades into Flutter Mane. Justice for that missed Overheat earlier. Tera Starstorm picks up a KO and a Focus Sash. Terapagos takes a nap just a little too late for the opponent, and Flutter Mane closes this one out. This team is pretty awkward. There's a reason Specs Terapagos Hyper Offense is, I think, not common these days, but we're getting some fun games for sure. Miraidon, Iron Hands, Torterra. Alright, Speedy Turtle 87. Maybe it's a fast Torterra. Ditto, Ice Rider, Calyrex, and Farigiraf. How do I beat Miraidon? I probably lead Koraidon Flutter Mane, right? Let's lead Flutter Mane Koraidon in case they try to pull a fast one with the Ditto. That just feels like a slightly less intuitive order from my leads. And then I'll bring Chi-Yu and Terapagos, and we'll see what happens. Torterra, Calyrex. I didn't think them leading Ditto was really that serious a risk, but might as well cover for it to the extent that I can. I don't want to let them Trick Room. I don't know if they want to Trick Room here, but if they do, I don't want to let them. So let's Moonblast in close combat. Torterra protects. Calyrex also protects, so they were just scouting me this turn, I guess. So now that I've doubled into Calyrex, do I want to do something different? Nobody... Actually, one Pokemon safely comes in on the Ditto, or on the close combat, it's Ditto, but then it doesn't safely come in on the Shadow Ball, so I'm actually going to make exactly the same moves. The Calyrex is under a lot of pressure. I don't know that the Torterra can really help it. And yeah, by going close combat instead of Flare Blitz, I get around a lot of common Terra types on Calyrex. I do miss the KO, though. I used Shadow Ball instead of Moonblast there for 2 reasons. One was to take out the Ditto if they tried to pull a fast one and switch it in, but the bigger reason was that Tera Fire Calyrex, which is a pretty common one, as well as Water, would resist the Moonblast, while Shadow Ball is neutral into, I think, every common Calyrex Tera type. Unfortunately, Moonblast is stronger than Shadow Ball. I would have gotten the KO had I used it there. What can you do? I'm going to get wrecked by Glacial Lance now. I'll try to avoid that for the time being by pivoting to Chi-Yu. But I can't stall out all these Trick Room turns. That's silly. This team is just not built for that. Okay, well, actually, this kind of works out as I sack Chi-Yu to a Headlong Rush. Now I can get Terapagos in. Does Torterra get Wide Guard? I think it does, but I also think I don't want to Terrasilize Terapagos here anyway, because the Tera Shell might be important to getting through this turn and actually getting an attack off. I can go for a double protect with Fluttermane, or I can switch to Koraidon to preserve Fluttermane for later with a higher chance it actually survives. I think I'll preserve Koraidon, so also there's a 1 in 3 chance that I preserve both if this double protect actually lands. Let's go for that. And no Tera Starstorm into Calyrex. I don't get the double protect. It is Wide Guard on the Torterra. The only attack coming out is Glacial Lance. Tera Shell makes that somewhat less scary. Calyrex does get a Chilling Neigh, but we'll get nothing to do with it. The Wide Guard still means that I'm not in a good spot to Tera, though. Absolutely protect Koraidon here. Might need a double still to get it through the Trick Room and have enough damage in the end game. Unfortunately, my sun is also about to end. And I guess we just stay no Tera Starstorm. Okay, avoid a low kick. There's no Wide Guard. We avoid a Headlong Rush as well. And take out the Torterra. Don't have to worry about Wide Guard anymore. Probably would have Terrastalized next turn anyway, because the Torterra was conditioned out of using Wide Guard at this point, probably. Now, Terapagos underspeeds Miraidon, but it probably gets taken out by Iron Hands before it gets to execute an attack. Nonetheless, I will do my best here. Close combat into Iron Hands. Actually, no. Just double protect. Tera Starstorm. Turning off their electric terrain is a little bit helpful to Terapagos' survivability, but that Iron Hands is still a giant threat. Will it attack Koraidon again, though? Koraidon gets a double protect. Low kick into Terapagos doesn't KO. I get a Tera Starstorm. The damage is kind of underwhelming, to be honest, but Koraidon avoids an Electro Drift, and now Trick Room is over. What are my priorities here in terms of targeting? I think I have to prioritize the hands. Is that right? No, because hands is going to be the slowest Pokemon. If I can take out Miraidon before it moves, which depends on the speed interaction, this is Adamant Koraidon, but if I can do that, I can't, then Terapagos would have gotten damage into hands, and Koraidon would have been able to finish off hands next turn, assuming it knocked out Terapagos. That is not what happens. It gets a Drain Punch into Koraidon. One more close combat. Big damage. Not big enough. Alright. Well, play until one more loss. Specs Terapagos has been a little underwhelming, but it is pretty funny to be able to bring this classic Reg G set. I'm just disappointed I haven't run into a Darkrai so far. Ice Rider Calyrex, Lunala, Smeargle, Urshifu, Torkoal, Indeedee. This looks like a hard Trick Room team. What do I do into these? I try to knock out the Trick Room setters before they get Trick Room set up. It's not very reliable, but I think it's the best thing I've got. I don't even think Whimsicott Encore is all that useful here, because they'll probably set up Psychic Terrain, and they also have ways of dealing with it with Smeargle. Smeargle, Calyrex. In this game, I could think about Terrasilizing Chi-Yu so that I don't have to worry about Fake Out at all this turn. Smeargle could follow me, though. In fact, it's probably more likely, but I think I'm best off if they Fake Out. I'm going to Moonblast Calyrex. This way, if it's redirected into Smeargle, it actually does damage. That's why I'm choosing Moonblast over Shadow Ball here. I am going to Terra Ghost the Chi-Yu. Unfortunate for Terapagos later, but I think it's the right call in this position. Go for Overheat into Calyrex. They do go for the Fake Out, so this pays off. We wipe out the Calyrex with the Overheat. Yeah, that puts me so far ahead from turn 1. I think it's worth not being able to get Stellar type damage from the Terapagos, as disappointing as that is, I will go ahead and use the -2 overheat to try to take out the Smeargle here and Shadow Ball Lunala. They could get Trick Room up here, but I've removed their most threatening Pokemon. They actually Tera Grass the Smeargle. That's a weird use of their Tera. I guess they thought I would let them off the hook with my Chi-Yu weakened. 75% to Lunala through Shadow Shield. They get Trick Room up. I'm still pretty scared when they get Trick Room up, but they forfeit. I guess I'm just too far ahead by the time it finally goes up. That is the strength of Hyper Offense. That opponent was more than 100 points higher rated than me. And just a quick little 2-turn game there. I guess the Tera on Chi was also kind of nice because the fact that I have Terapagos and Koraidon on this team makes it probably look less likely to my opponent that I will Terrasilize Chi-Yu. So it gets a bit more surprise value. This player has a Miraidon. They also have a Magearna hiding behind the Miraidon, but I see you, Magearna. They have Indeedee, Iron Hands, Fluttermane, and Ursaluna. This is a very Trick Room-oriented team, but the Fluttermane obviously gives it another layer. Nonetheless, I think it's the same lead here. Probably just the same 4. Maybe Koraidon is not that good here. Then again, Raging Bolt and Terapagos are really afraid of the Ursaluna if it gets going. Then again, Koraidon is also afraid of the Ursaluna if Trick Room is up. How much difference does it really make? When in doubt, though, I'll bring my restricted Pokemon. So, same mode as last game. Against Lunala and Fluttermane. No booster energy. My Fluttermane is max speed. Theirs might well also have max speed on this team. And a Sash, but I'm just going to double into Lunala. It could be Terra Fairy Lunala, so I might want to overheat it instead of going for Dark Pulse. Although Chi-Yu having the Scarf will go before Fluttermane and break the Shadow Shield. So its damage is going to be mitigated anyway, and who knows, maybe a Dark Pulse flinch will be nice. Actually, you know what? Maybe a Snarl will be nice. It's Terra Normal Lunala. Okay, so Shadow Ball. That makes perfect sense, but I don't think I've seen it before, so they surprised me nicely with that. I mean, I've seen Terra Normal on Fluttermane and Shadow Rider Calyrex. This is not some obscure idea. I just don't think I've actually seen it on a Lunala before. And it's Meteor Beam, so they get rid of the drop immediately. I mean, it is weak to Koraidon now. But yeah, Shadow Ball was not the call into that Pokemon. And Fluttermane now has lowered speed. And because the speed is lowered, Photosynthesis actually gives me a special attack boost because that's the stat that's higher right now. And the Focus Sash is broken. I probably have to pivot it out. I also probably have to Terrasilize Koraidon because it's otherwise a sitting duck against this Fluttermane. And then I probably have to prioritize getting rid of their Fluttermane because Terapagos has no way to damage it, but actually my Fluttermane does, and I can't let Lunala just get a free Trick Room here. So, okay, well, we go into Indeedee. Would have been nice, actually, to Flame Charge the Fluttermane. Yeah, maybe... I mean, they were really pressured to switch Lunala out there, right? Because it was weak to close combat. Maybe... I guess I should have Flame Charged the Fluttermane. That would have put me further ahead on this turn, I think. Although, getting rid of the redirection is also nice. Lunala's back. Does it have Protect? I would think that's not super likely. I'll Terra Starstorm because there's nothing else to do with this Terapagos, and I'll close combat Lunala. The Fluttermane lands a Moonblast. Koraidon now resists it. We take out Lunala. This Terra Starstorm does nothing, but Sleep Talk also wouldn't have done anything. And I chose to give this Terapagos no other moves because it's funny and it was a real set that people ran for a while. Terra Starstorm into the hands. Protect. Does Moonblast KO Koraidon now? I think it might be a roll. I'm just gonna... because I get my Fluttermane in after this. Kinda want to just risk it and go for the close combat into the hands. Shadow Ball KOs Koraidon. Don't know why I didn't think about that one. It's not resisted. Okay, well, it's all up to Fluttermane now. I probably just lose to the hands if I don't lose to their Fluttermane first. I guess I did just need to get rid of their Fluttermane at some point in this game, and I never prioritized it enough. As the game ended, and I only attacked one target, so clearly I lose to the Iron Hands here. Is there a way that I can sack Fluttermane and get Koraidon in without the drops and win with that? Yeah, that might have worked as well, though Terapagos going down to the hands is kind of awkward. But in any case, that is loss number 3. This team was really silly, really awkward, but I never tried the Tera Starstorm Sleep Talk Terapagos back when that was an actual meta set for a short time. We can see now why that was a short time. I thought I'd have some fun with it here. I didn't get all the Tera Starstorm damage that I hoped. And I never ran into a Darkrai. I'm so disappointed that I never ran into a Darkrai. Are people really not using Darkrai anymore? It's such a good ladder cheese Pokemon. I mean, to be clear, what I mean is it's good at being ladder cheese. I don't know how well it's held up as a Pokemon in a competitive format, but you would think that I would run into some. But no Darkrai to be found. I'll get one more game. I'm manifesting a Darkrai. Last chance. Let's see it. No Darkrai. Terapagos versus Terapagos, though. That's an okay note to end on. Into this. Let's just throw all my offense at them. Well, as much of it as I can in one game. Okay, they lead Grimmsnarl Terapagos. This is going to be Calm Mind Terapagos, isn't it? It might even be Psych Up Shadow Rider, actually. I didn't really think about that at preview, but that's totally plausible here. Let's just double into this thing. Why not? They protect it and pivot to something more favorable. They just go Terra Stellar immediately. Maybe it's not Calm Mind Terapagos. See, I was looking to break... Oh, I forgot Grimmsnarl runs Fake Out sometimes. Well, I got the Moonblast crit. I was going Moonblast to break the Terra Shell, but they just wipe out my Koraidon turn 1, but I'm actually still in a strong position with these two faster, very strong attackers. I guess I'll just Moonblast and Heat Wave. I would love to Moonblast the Grimmsnarl, but I can't let the Terapagos off the hook. If it's Thunder Wave Grimmsnarl, that could be awkward because it could make Fluttermane not so fast, obviously. It's Scary Face, but they went into Chi-Yu. Of course, it's not Thunder Wave specifically that doesn't work on Dark types. It's all Prankster boosted moves, so that doesn't work either. It will now work on Fluttermane if they want to try that. But taking out the Terapagos is good. Their other restricted is really bad into my Terapagos. I think I will just switch that in for Fluttermane right now. It doesn't care about a Scary Face, and of course Chi-Yu is immune. Let's just Heat Wave again. Does half to Grimmsnarl. Unless they want to throw up a light screen here. Volcarona switches in. We missed the Heat Wave into that, but we landed into Calyrex. Astral Barrage is not doing too much back. This is Scarf Chi-Yu. We can take out their Calyrex with a Heat Wave, barring some weird Terra type, and let's just go straight for the Tera Starstorm as well. This opponent should be on the ropes now, so we just move in for the kill. With Terapagos, of course. Because that's whose video this is. They forfeited. We don't get to see the big damage go off, but a win's a win. No Darkrai, but the video turned out okay in the end. I am going to be very amused if the first opponent of the next one has a Darkrai. But of course, who knows what I'll be using for that. Maybe it'll still be an interesting matchup. Only way to find out is to go to the next episode, back to the wheel, and find out what's next.